Hey Ree, so today I'm here to do a review of the Willow Generation 3 breast pump. This is a long time coming. Thank you all for your patience. There's just a few things that I need to talk about before we'll go ahead and jump into the review. Technically, this video is sponsored by Willow. They did give me a discounted price to buy the pump at, so technically I have to say that it's sponsored, but just know I used my own money to purchase the pump to try. Also, if you're wanting to see the pump up close, see what it comes with, see what I got, because I did get one add-on thing, I will link my unboxing video below so you're able to see all of that up close and personal. Today, I'm just going to stick to the review. So first thing is price. This pump retails for $500. It is eligible for FSA and HSA. It's also covered under certain insurances. It's actually offered on Aeroflow as an upgrade for some insurances now. So I will leave a link to that below as well. And also Willow was nice enough to give me a limited time promo code for you guys. So if you use the code Alia25, you will get $25 off your Willow pump purchase from now until August 11th, 2020. So second is functionalities of use, and it looks pretty straightforward because these are the only buttons right here on the pump itself. So you have the start or pause button, increase, decrease suction, and then the power button down here. But actually, I feel like there is a bit of a learning curve, which is something that I did hear from a lot of you, and also Willow themselves let me know. I did find that once I got into a rhythm of using it and consistently using it, that kind of went away from me. Every time that I used it, it got simpler and simpler. It also has a technology that takes all the information from your pump sessions because it is tracking that. It is a smart pump. I'll get into that here in a second. But it takes that information to enhance future pump sessions that way that they're a little bit better for you. So there's also that as well. So even though there's just a few buttons, I feel like there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's nothing too steep and nothing too crazy. And honestly, the pump is doing some of the work for you. Number 3 is reviews, and for this Generation 3, when I was looking at major retailers, it had at least 4 stars at all of them, and I will say that I haven't heard much about this Generation 3, but it is really new, so that's kind of to be expected, and I feel like that'll change with time, obviously. And number 4 is portability and power options. Obviously, this pump is meant to be wire-free, portable, stick it in your nursing bra or nursing cami, and go. That's the whole premise of this pump, so obviously it does just that. It does have a power port down here where you plug it in and you charge it up, but you basically are wire-free. You stick this straight into, like I said, a nursing bra or cami, and you're able to pump discreetly. So yes, it is definitely portable, and it does have the rechargeable battery in it. Number 5 is accessibility to replacement or spare parts, and with this, you're best just to go online. Maybe if you're in a bigger city that maybe has a bye-bye baby, maybe they would have something, but I live next to Walmarts and Targets, and I've never even seen a Willow pump in store, so I think your best bet here is online. Number 6 is customer service, and it has been great for me. Number 7 is durability. I will say that over the past couple months that I've been using it, it's been keeping up with me as I'm exclusively pumping, so I've had no problems with it there. But I will say that the owner's manual does mention a 1-year operating life. So with that, it does not mention any hours, which does make me feel a bit better about it. And once again, anytime I mention these, anytime that there's an operating life, lifespan, whatever the pump may call it, it doesn't mean that at that point it'll automatically shut off and no longer work. It is just something that they put in there. But I really like the fact that Willow's doesn't mention an hour limit. So within that year, it leads me to believe that you could get quite a bit of use, whether you're exclusively pumping or occasionally pumping. Number 8 is noise level, and I will say that at first it has about a medium level of noise to it. Honestly, it kind of sounds like a printer or something just electronical to me, but that is its latching, and as soon as it latches, it is quieter. There is a little bit of noise. It's pretty quiet, but I feel like unless I'm in a dead silence room, you can't hear it. If I'm up at night by myself with no TV on, I definitely hear it, but if we are watching something, if I am listening to music, if I am washing dishes, stuff like that, you can't hear it. Number 9 is an open or closed system. Now, I had to give a bit of thought of this because this is not your traditional pump, so I don't think that I can apply what I would traditionally say is a closed or open system pump. I will say that given everything, looking at it all, considering it for a bit, I would consider this to be a closed system pump. I could not find anything on their website or even in the owner's manual what they consider it to be. And if I'm wrong about that, I will correct myself in the description box in the comments. But after thinking about it for a good amount of time, I do feel like the flex tube does facilitate as kind of like a backflow protector. So a backflow protector is what we typically see on other pumps, traditional pumps, that protects any milk from going back into the motor. Their flex tube takes the milk out of the tunnel that you're expressing into and puts it into a container, whether that be the reusable container or the bags. So it is intentionally taking milk from point A to point B, so it's not going anywhere else. That paired with the fact that this entire pump relies on the fact that the milk will not get into the motor. You know, you have the motor right here, you have the container over here. They cannot be obviously together. It would ruin the entire pump. So I feel like the pump itself as a concept, and also with the flex tube, I would consider this to be a closed system pump. Number 10 is two-phase expression, and this pump does offer that. And then also with some bonus things, like I mentioned, it is a smart pump. So you do download the Willow app onto your phone and you're able to see what is going on. It is counting your ounces as you are expressing it into the containers. Like I said, whether that's the bags or the reusable one, it is counting that, which is really cool. It's also timing each breast, and you can see that, and it automatically logs everything for you right on their app. It's really cool. It's very seamless, and you pretty much don't have to do anything. It also will alert you if there's anything going on with the pump. So if you don't have something assembled correctly, like when I was first getting started, I got a lot of those. Or if, you know, your things are full, if the latch isn't correct, things like that, it'll pop up on the screen and let you know. The app also does give you personalized pumping tips. Like I said, it is taking the information from your pumping sessions and it is trying to enhance the future ones, but it's also mentioning on the app different tips that they have for you. So that is about the app. And then, like I said, it is a wireless pump. So this is literally everything. I feel like this is pretty unique. It's a big bonus to this pump. It's a huge selling point to it. So there are no tubes. There's no wires. This is literally everything. This is exactly what you are going to be sticking in your bra or your cami. And then that way you're able to express milk pretty discreetly. So, you know, this is very unique. And like I said, I want to make sure to mention it in case you had not heard of this pump or seen it up close before, but obviously that's a huge thing. Most traditional pumps are kind of like a pump and release. Basically, it's like a snap back with your nipple. It'll suction it, but then it just lets it go and it lets it snap back. And that's not what babies do when they're nursing. Babies keep a consistent latch. So this pump has a consistent type of suction. And then I did want to mention the sizes available because obviously with this pump, you do have to use whatever they offer. You're not able to use, you know, third-party parts. So with this, they do offer the 21, 24, and 27 millimeter. And I will be linking the size guide, the owner's manual PDF, like everything that I could find informational down below for you in case you have this pump, you're looking into it. And yeah, that's about everything. Now I'm just going to get into my experience with it. Okay, to start off, I will say that I have gotten requests to review this pump for years, literal years. And while I was excited to do it, I still had my hesitancies and doubts just because I am a very large chested woman. I am a 40 triple D when I am not breastfeeding. And obviously when I breastfeed, they only get bigger. So I just really doubted how well this would fit me. Not flange size wise, not right here, because breast size does not equate to nipple size. That's not how breast anatomy works. I just meant that I have a lot of breast and I was just wondering if it would be able to get a good latch. So first off, it does not have a problem with that at all. And also I was wondering what it would look like when wearing this because obviously I have enough in the breast region, but I was wondering what adding something like this would look like. And honestly, as long as I'm not wearing a skin tight shirt, it's really hard to see. And even when I am wearing something that's skin tight, you can obviously tell that there's a bit more in there, but it's nothing crazy obnoxious. There's not like, it doesn't look like, I don't know. It doesn't look silly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I was really worried that it was going to look obnoxious or, you know, not look right and just kind of draw attention, which I am not about when it comes to pumping, but it doesn't do that. And like I said, if I'm wearing a flowy shirt, it's really hard to notice then. So I was very relieved to find that it does get a good latch. I have no issue with that and that it does fit my breast well. regardless of the fact that I am very large chested. I got a lot of questions as to how the sizing worked out for me. I did use their sizing chart. Like I said, I will link that down below for you. And I will say that it was spot on for what I typically use. With all other pumps, I am a 21 millimeter. And when I looked at their chart, that's what they recommended to me as well. And I will say that it's been working just fine for me. My pump actually came with 24 millimeter flange for the bags right here. I don't actually use these because I have found that the 21s work perfectly for me. I have no issue. Like, there's no real reason to try the 24s. So I would say that their sizing is correct in my experience, and I had no issues with it. I also heard from a lot of you that there was a pretty big learning curve with this pump, and I will say that my contact at Willow said the same exact thing, but I found that it got easier over time, like I mentioned. I definitely do agree there is a lot to learn at first, and I would even go a step farther and say that I really wouldn't go into using this pump with the mindset that it's like other pumps. Every once in a while when I am trying all of these different pumps for you guys, I do find something that is unlike the rest of them, and the Willow Generation 3 is that pump. I find that at first it does take some getting used to, but it's because it's unlike other pumps. It's not a traditional one. It doesn't feel like what you are probably used to or what you may have used in the past. And I think it's important to set those expectations aside, because once I did, I found that I really enjoyed the Willow pump. You know, it does feel different, but it's not in a bad way. It's just that it was something that I wasn't used to. And the more that I used it, the more I got familiar with the settings and what I liked, and I figured all of that out, and I stopped comparing it to other pumps. I found that I really did enjoy it. I do like how it feels. I think it's very comfortable. I will say that I think it's gentle, but it can be powerful. And I think that the technology that they have, you know, the consistent suction, it is different. It's going to make it a different experience for how it feels for you. So I would just try to keep that in mind. But I will say, as a whole, the more I used it, the more I liked it. So it was different at first, and it did take some getting used to. And I think that also having the correct size flange, so using that size guide, also just taking into account everything that they mention in the owner's manual, making sure that you're doing everything correctly, and then also just finding that setting over time that you enjoy. All of that will lead you into a really good place with this and a really good routine. And once you get over that learning curve after you have used it, which it took me about a week and a half, I think, of getting used to this new pump and then also finding the settings that I like, I found that I was in a really good rhythm. I don't want to make this into a comparison video, but I have had other pumps that also utilize that technology of a consistent suction, and they take some getting used to, because most pumps on the market do not have that. So it is going to be a different sensation. It's going to be something that you have to get acquainted with, but it's nothing painful. It's nothing that hurts, and it shouldn't, because pumping should never be painful. But I know that with the correct flange size, the correct suction level, and then just finding your rhythm with everything, it should subside within just a few days. I found that to be the case for me. And like I said, the more I used it, the more I liked it. This pump also quickly became super convenient for me. I would say that the busiest times of our day are around lunchtime and then around bedtime. Around lunchtime, my youngest daughter is getting up from her nap. She needs a bottle, the one that I'm pumping for. My older girls are also ready to have lunch. I also need to feed myself, and it's also typically around my second pump session of the day. I have all of that within like an hour's time, and it's just a lot to do. Most of the time I end up pushing eating lunch or pumping, one of the two, just kind of depends on what time it is. And I will push that, and I'll wait to do one until I complete the other. I felt like most days I was pushing that pump, so I was able to eat and I was able to take care of the kids and do everything that they needed to do, but it was getting my pumping schedule off track. You know, it wasn't anything that I could really help. My kids need stuff to be done, so I need to do it, and obviously they come first. But I started using the Willow specifically during that time, and it was amazing. I made sure that it was something that I had ready to go every time at that time of day, and I could put it in while I was getting the baby situated. I was able to pour out one side, make her a bottle, continue pumping, get the older girls lunch, get myself lunch, and by the time all of that was done, I was done pumping, and I had like 30-40 minutes of extra time left, which just does not happen for me, and it was really strange. It was a very odd feeling, because most days I either spent that eating the quickest lunch possible or sitting down to finally pump. So I now had that time free, and it was really strange to me, but I found it super useful during that time and also during bedtime. Again, with bedtime, our youngest daughter goes to bed a little bit earlier, but honestly, our older girls are not far behind her. So after we would get the baby down, then it's the older girls, and obviously their whole routine does take a little while. And I typically do have to pump because our youngest still takes middle of the night feeds. So it was like I needed to be trying to get through bedtime super quickly so I could get out here and pump and have a bottle ready for her. But now, because of the Willow, I can put it in while we're doing bedtime, and just when everybody's done and ready and that entire hour-long process is done, I am done pumping. It has made those times so much more efficient, and it's also given me time for myself. I think all of us moms know that we can get a lot done with 30-40 minutes. So to be able to have that time and not have to spend it pumping after I've done all of that stuff, I can pump while I'm getting it done. It's pretty huge for me. So I was trying to use it throughout the day at different times, but I found that the busiest times a day, it was even more convenient. It was just such a lifesaver. One thing I do want to mention is the reusable container. I have mine in the pump right now, and I will say that I think that this is an excellent addition to their line of products, because if they just had the bags like they did in the past, I don't know that I would reach for this as often. Now, it's not overly complicated to load the bags in or anything like that, but it still is another extra step. Whereas with the container, I can literally pop it out. There is a few steps to emptying it. But once you get used to it, honestly, it takes maybe 30 seconds to do it all, and I can dump it out, put it right back in, and get back to pumping. I really enjoy that. So if you are an oversupplier, or you just need to use this, you're going a little farther in between pumps, something like that, I feel like this makes it more of an option for more moms because of the reusable container. If you are somebody who is looking to either not have to purchase the bags, then I would definitely recommend that you get the reusable container. I did buy it. It was an extra $50, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. I have thoroughly enjoyed these, and honestly, I'm contemplating getting another set just so I always have one clean, because they are that convenient and it's what I like to reach for the most. I did use the flange in the bags. I found that they worked exactly how they said they were going to be. I think it's important to note the difference. With the bags, you are able to move around however you would like, and it's not going to leak. I found that to be the case. I tested them out a lot of different ways. I never had any leaking issues, so I was very happy to see that, because I think instinctually, I wasn't willing to trust that, but after seeing that it does exactly what it says it's going to do, I have no problem trusting it now. But I do like to use the reusable containers more often, and with these, you do have to make sure that you're not bending completely over, so just be aware of that difference. If you're looking at the manuals and everything that it comes with, you'll be able to read that and you'll understand it, but just something to note the difference with. I like having the option of both. If I was going to go do something crazy where I was bending over a ton, or, wanted to lay down, obviously I'm going to put the bags in. And like I said, I had no problems with them, so I have no problem using them. But more often I am using my reusable container. I have used both. I do enjoy both. Like I said, the flange size was correct for me. I think it's comfortable. I have had no issues with any kind of leaking or anything like that. And as far as battery goes, I honestly forgot to keep track of it because it seems to keep a charge pretty long. I want to say I got at least 4 uses out of each side, which would equate to 2 hours, but I want to say it might have even been more than that. They last so long that I just really haven't been keeping track, so I'm sorry about that, but they do keep a charge pretty well. My pumping sessions last between around 30 minutes, if not quicker. So with this 3rd generation, they also mentioned that you are supposed to get 20% more milk. Now, to give you an actual idea of what that means, I typically, going every 4 hours, get a total of 10 ounces combined, so 5 ounces from each breast. So 10 ounces, 20% more of that would be 2 ounces. So basically an ounce more from each breast. I will say that looking back through my log, that seems to be pretty consistent. So it might not sound like a lot, but again, whether a pump is saying that it's going to save you time or give you more milk, even if it does seem minuscule, if you are doing those things all day long, it is going to add up. It is going to make a difference. So I did see that from the things that it was logging. And again, it does that itself. The pump is keeping track of how much you are making and it's putting it right in your phone. I had no discrepancies with that. 4 ounces of the Willow was 4 ounces in her feeding bottle. So I was fine there, but I did consistently see that throughout the different logs that I had in my phone. So I was pretty surprised to see that because I thought that was a pretty bold claim. And I was wondering if I would actually see that. And I did. You know, I don't have a rhyme or reason. I can't really tell you anything. It could be their technology. It could be switching up pumps. It could be the sensation. It could be a number of different things. But I do think it's important to know that it's not just going to be the pump itself that's going to do that for you. You have to make sure you have the correct flange size and also suction level. Those are crucial as with any pump, but just make sure that you have those on point so you are able to use the pump to its full capacity, and hopefully you get that 20% more yourself too. All in all, I really did enjoy using this pump. It does take some getting used to, both with the settings, the sensation, getting all of that into your own rhythm. But after I got over that, I have found that it's just been more and more convenient as time has gone on. I really enjoy how it feels. I think it's comfortable. It's been working super well for me. It's been a very convenient tool with pumping. I know that just like with any other pump, that this isn't going to work for everybody, but I do feel like if there is any time in your day that you are sacrificing pumping to get other stuff done, I would recommend this pump. I mean, I think even if you're a stay-at-home mom and, you know, you do have the privilege of time and you are able to do things when you please, I still would recommend it because it's just one more thing to take off your plate. And I know as moms, like I said earlier, there's a lot we can do with just a little amount of time. So I would recommend it. I have no complaints with this pump. Like I said, I agree with you guys. There's a learning curve. There is things to be aware of. But all in all, I do think that if you are willing to make the investment with this pump, it's an investment well made. I would pay for this out of my own pocket again because it has been that convenient for me. And it's just, I can't get over that strange feeling. You know, I'm so used to having to either pump quickly or eat quickly so I could get to the one that I'm pushing, and to be able to just do everything at the same time and then be like, okay, well, I guess what can I do now? And whether that's sit down and take care of myself and, you know, let myself just relax for a few minutes or go do something else, I just feel like it's a game changer. So I have really enjoyed my experience with this 3rd generation Willow. I am very thankful that I've had the opportunity to try it. And I also want to say that I really appreciated Willow as a company because they actually sought me out because I make honest content, and they appreciated that. They were well aware of the fact that I was going to take my time using it. I was going to come on here and be honest with you guys and give you the true account of everything that I feel. And they were 100% behind that. So I really feel like that speaks volumes to a company. And from what I've been hearing from moms who have used previous versions, it does sound like they are taking your guys's, you know, criticisms and advice when it comes to creating newer generations, which I love because I feel like that's the only way that breast pumps are going to get better is if we listen to the moms who are actually using them. So I love everything about the experience I've had with their company. I really appreciate them giving me that discount because I am a mom just like most of you. That $500 is a lot of money. So to make it a bit more affordable for me to go ahead and invest and try for you guys so I can let you know if I think it's worth your investment, I really appreciate that because most of us are in the position where $500 is a lot of money and we want to know that it's going towards something that actually can do some good. I do think it's an investment worthwhile if you're interested in this pump. So all in all, great experience. I would recommend this pump. I've been talking for an hour, so hopefully I can get this down for you guys. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget about that coupon code. It is Alia25. It'll give you $25 off your purchase of the Willow breast pump from now until August 11th, but make sure first that you're going to Aeroflow and make sure that you cannot get it through your own insurance completely free or an upgrade option that may be even cheaper than the coupon code. So I will leave all those links down below. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.